देवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं गुरुब्रह्मा गुरुविष्णु गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः. I welcome everyone who are in Durga temple as well as who are online. We are meeting after quite a long break because of some summer work over here and some prayers. We could not do our pravachan for last 2 weeks, but so we have shifted our time. Now we will be starting at 8:30 to 9:30 on Saturdays, and we will continue with our study of Shrimad Bhagavad Gita. We will try to recap where we were before. We were on the 3rd chapter. We are studying Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter. Karma Yoga Nama Tritiyo Adhyaya. Karma Yoga. I think that in today's world, the biggest or most important chapter to be taken from Gita is Karma Yoga. And what is true karma? Karma doesn't mean only that we go for a job or we do some work in the society, social work. They are not completely defining the karma. Karma has got a very wide definition and very clear definition. It is not confusing, it is not ambiguous, it is very, very clear, and we are trying to understand it. And in that Karma Yoga, we were on 14th sloka. So I will first chant the sloka and then we will go further from there. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhavaha yagnat bhavati parjanyo yagnah karma samuddhavaha. And we were at this sloka, and the anvay, the meaning of this sloka is Annat bhavanti bhutani. People are created. God is describing the cycle here. So the rain is bringing anna. Food is required for people to exist. And here it is the word bhutani. This is also a very good indication that Gita is for everyone, even for animals, even for it is considering every live being, visible or non-visible, and that is why the word is bhutani. It is not manushyani, annat bhavanti manushyani. It is not that way. It is annat bhavanti bhutani. Every creature on the surface of the earth as well as in the universe are happening, are sustaining through the anna. Annat bhavanti bhutani. And parjanya anna sambhava. We all know parjanya means rain. We all know that the rain is creating the food, is creating the grain. Rain begets the grains. And these grains are eaten and transported into blood, and then when the semen is created, the new babies are created. So that means the creation of the body, creation of the live creature is through an anna. And anna is created through the parjanya, through the rain. And then the second stanza is yagnat bhavati parjanyo. The parjanya, the rain, is created through yagya. And here we were talking about what is Yagya. We have talked about Yagya in detail, and it will be in more detail as we go forward. The definition of Yagya is very, very clearly defined in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita at multiple locations. So Yagnat Bhavanti Parjanyo. When people do the Yagya, the Parjanya, the rain happens. And here this is a question. Parjanya ki utpatti Yagya se hoti hai. And Yagya karma samudbhava. और यज्ञ कर्मों से उत्पन्न होता है. यज्ञ is created through the karma, and this second stanza is clearly explaining us how the cycle is, how the society should be, how the society should be working. It is more like a political and social science sloka than the devotee part of the bhakti part of sloka. So let us try to understand. So first up we talked about the karma in the earlier sloka. What is a karma? Karma is whatever is my natural instinct, whatever is my natural way. I do the work accordingly. If I am a brave person, I join police forces, I join any duty which needs the bravery, and I will be happy and I will be able to perform. I will be able to go progress with that attitude. Why? Because I am built, my design is like that. In the same way, what type of a karma? That is where the Varna Vyavastha came in. That if you are having a nature of a specific type, 4 categories are defined. There is no up and down, there is no untouchability. It is defining 4 different characteristics. Some people are excellent in making money. They are very good businessmen. They should not go in police forces because their skills will not be even enough exposed and executed in those areas. That is what it means. The Varna Vyavastha is it is a Vyavastha, it is an arrangement. It is not a caste system. Anyway, so we talked about it in detail before. So when I do the karma like that, and I do the karma with a Yagya bhav, a trusteeship in a very nearest English translation. When I work with a trusteeship with my efficiency in which I am having my aptitude, then that is a Yagya. When all the people do selflessly their work with their best efficiency, what happens? The fruits are coming out. There will be a great outcome. There will be a great outcome of everybody's effort in the society. Nowadays, we do not see great sculptures which we see, which was constructed before. We don't see them now. Why? Why we are not seeing great sculptures which were done in 15th century, 18th century, 10th century, even in India, even before 5th century. So why don't we see them? Because the education system is standardized, is flattened. How and best we can do with the qualities of with a person is born is not given importance. Then there will be so many dropouts by the grade 8. And those people will not be able to survive in the society with a great thing. They are born with great skills, but they are supposed to be given that opportunity. So that is what the Varna Vyavastha was. And when everybody works like that, Yagnat Bhavati Parjanyo, the rain will happen. And then we talked about the definition of rain. What is the meaning of the word rain? And we defined it in 2 terms. One, rain means motherhood. And second, rain means equality. When the society works, when the people in the society works together as a Yagya, it will give a rain. And the rain is nothing but motherhood and equality. Rain is explaining us motherhood and equality. Rain falls everywhere equally. On a rich man's roof, on a poor man's roof. Rain will go, that means that the distribution of the fruits which are created through the Yagya should be done as a rain. Yagyat bhavati parjanyo. Yagna se बारिश होती है. यज्ञ से बारिश होती है. That means when people work together selflessly, there will be rain, there will be water for everyone. There will be water for creatures, there will be water for humans, there will be water for everyone. That is what it means. Rain means what? Yeah, people say that, oh, यज्ञ करो, हवन करो, आग जलाओ, उसमें श्लोक करो और करो. हो सकता है, वो साइंस का क्वेश्चन हो सकता है. I am not expert in it. But one thing is sure, from social sciences, when people work selflessly towards a goal together, using their best skills, it will give the best fruits. There will be huge amount of resources created. And those resources should be distributed like a rain. That is Yagyat Bhavati Parjanyo. Karma means righteous action, and Yagya is created by the karma. If we do not do the righteous action, even though the whole society will be working, the society will be unhappy. And there is no more beyond to see. Everybody in present day is working hard. is working towards the self and the other goals. But the society will not be happy because there is the factor of Yagya is not there. And when factor of Yagya is not there, there is no rain. Rich people will become more rich, poor will become more poor. That is going to happen. The resource distribution should be like a rain. That is what he is saying. People doing their duty by Yagya. Yeah, and we took the example of a family in a dining table. When in the evening the family is coming together and doing a Yagya, doing the dining, they are eating together. What happens? The kid who has woke up in the morning and has gone to school, he has not earned any money. He has just gone to school and then maybe go to some sports. The father has gone to the job and made some money. The mother has cooked the food. The older people have taken care of very young babies. But all of them eat together on the dining table as they want, as per their need. So one more factor over there is rain doesn't mean equal. The definition of equal is as needed. The definition of equal is as needed. When we say the definition of equal means equal portion, it is unequal actually. Same example of dining table, if there are suppose 5 people and then there are 10 piece of bread, and we say that everybody should get equal, a 3-year-old baby will also get 2 pieces of bread which he or she cannot eat. Whereas a young person who needs more bread will get only 2 bread, the person will be half hungry. So the distribution as rain means as and where needed to the quantity as per the perception over there at that moment. That is why there are more rain. Even in rain also we see that there is more rain in Amazon area, in Amazon jungles, Amazon forest. But there is not that much amount of rain in other part of the world. So rain and equality means as needed. That is important. The distribution of the resources in the society should be done equally, means as needed. After eating the food at the dining table, everybody's stomach is full. They are equally satisfied. So definition of equal is very important, because the definition of equal, if it is not understood, it will go to the Robin Hood definition. Take the money from the rich and give it to the poor. That will not work. It will not work. Rich people will be still rich, and it will not be legal also. So equal means final satisfaction of the consumer should be equal. All the people at the dining table are equally satisfied, even though a half bread is eaten by a 4-year-old kid and 7 breads are eaten by a young man, they both are equally satisfied. So definition of equal is important. And motherhood, that is what the rain is. So yagyat bhavanti parjanyo. When people work selflessly, parjanya, the rain happens. Yagya means working together for the same cause, selflessly. Now how everybody can work selflessly with the same cause? Everybody has got their own selfish reason to work. How they can work selflessly? What can be the fulcrum point? What can be the fulcrum point? Even though they are working for self, the outcome will be selfless. How it will work? And that is when the Yagya comes. Yagya is coming. So Yagya is everyday life. Yagya should be done in every day, every karma. The way we are working should be like that. And that is why in the fulcrum there is God. We are going to talk about it in detail at some time. The Samudra Manthan, the churning of the ocean, the whole episode of Samudra Manthan is excellent example of 2 different kind of people but working together for one cause. Totally different. The ideology is different, psychology is different, nature is different, behavior is different. On one side there is Asur and the other side there is Devata, Dev and Danav. But they are both working together. And they are churning the ocean, Samudra Manthan. Excellent example of how today's management should be done. how management in a company, managers should learn how the Samudra Manthan is and how Samudra Manthan can be applicable in today's world. Anyway, we'll talk about Samudra Manthan lately. But so we need rain for equality in the society, and then there will be food available for all. And remember, here food doesn't mean only the bread which we eat. Food means the resources which are necessary to sustain the life. That is what the food is. If it is not done that way, what will happen? Imagine if there is no equal distribution. Again, remember, equal means the up to the level of satisfaction and not the level of quantity wise. When there is no equal distribution, some part of the society will be unhappy, will be dissatisfied. So number one bullet point, think about it as number one to number two, number three bullet point. Number one will be society as a whole is not happy. So the aim of making the society happy, sarvena sukhina santu, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu will not happen. That will not happen. Why? Because there is unequal distribution. Number two part is that when there is unequal distribution, there is a depressed part of the society. That society will turn into crime. That society will turn into inactiveness. So many things. Either they will become beggars. They will live. They will live on the roadside. Homeless people. They will do drugs. They will do everything. The whole problem of the society. They will indulge into crime. And if there is a crime increase, do you think that a person who is who has got more resources will be able to live happily? No, they will not. Even though they have got a lot of money, they will not be able to live happily. They will not be able to live in peaceful condition. Why? Because some part of the society is unhappy and they are going to do the agitation. Why we are not getting? So that is why we need a reign, equality, again equality, equal distribution. An instability in society will not make the society happy as a whole. Society can be happy when everybody is equally satisfied, even though they are not satisfied. Let us take the same example of the dining table. Imagine there is very less food available and people are distributed just enough. Everybody will be having less food in the stomach. They will not be completely satisfied, but still as a society as a whole will be satisfied. Why? We got whatever was available, we got our portion. So distribution is extremely important to understand. And this is coming even to the taxation system in the countries and all. It is a big area. So Gita here is very important to understand is that Gita is not for just Bhagwan ka naam le lo, haath jodo, tali bajao, aarti karo, puja karo. Gita is explaining us how the society should be run. How the society should be run. That is what is explained by Gita. And this is the biggest missing point in today's world, and we are trying to do that work here. We are trying to understand the applicability of Gita in today's life. Otherwise, the God will be separate and the world will be separate. मंदिर में आए तो भगवान है, ऑफिस में गए तो भगवान नहीं है. How it will happen? How a person can wear two different masks and live the life happily? Cannot. So we have to understand, and that is what we are doing. Now, the Yagya, we will take one example. It's an extremely important example. I came across a person and in Mexico, and we discussed in detail about it. Mexico got independence in the year 1820, somewhere in 1820, 1821. India got independence in 1947. We are taking an example of two countries. Okay, let us see what Yagya means and how the Yagya impacts the long history of country as a whole. What happened? In case of Mexico, it was a independence war, but it was through a war. It was not through a ahimsa. It was through a war. All the people in India also, there were some people who were going in a violence path also, but overall people followed the non-violence path. In Mexico, everybody who were making the independence movement were all having the war through the violence. Now what happened? In Mexico, there were so many areas where there are group leaders. जैसे एक एक एरिया में एक एक एरिया का एक एक सरदार होता है, one leader, one warrior community in every area, and each of them fought in their own area to extract the Spaniards away and Britishers both. They wanted to take them away, so they used the weapons, they used their strength, the muscle power, and they threw away the Spaniards and Britishers. But remember, they used the muscle power. What happened? Because they used the muscle power, even after getting the independence, now the muscle power is to be used. Who is bigger? Who will be getting bigger share when the country is independent? The whole seed is with the violence. So what happened? We know that Mexico got independence in 1820. It was 127 years before India. 127 years before India. What happened after 1821? There were internal wars happening between the people. Internal wars. They started fighting. I am bigger, मैं बड़ा हूँ, मुझे ज़्यादा चाहिए. The country couldn't stabilize even till now. There are biggest crimes, there are warlords, there is drug issue. Why? Two reasons. Number one, they didn't work as a yagya, they worked independently. मेरे एरिया में से मैं स्पेनियर्ड को भगा दूं, मेरे एरिया में से इनको निकाल दूं. They didn't work together under one umbrella as a nation. They didn't do it. Same thing happened in India also when the external invaders came in on the temple of Somnath. सोमनाथ मंदिर के ऊपर आया जब भी, तो जहां से आता है मोहम्मद गजनी, only those people fought. Even though the all other people, 40 crore, all other people will having Jai Somnath, but they didn't fought against it. Why? हमारे राज्य में से गजनी नहीं जा रहा है, यज्ञ कार्य नहीं हुआ. Same way happened in Mexico. Yagya karya nahi hua. Yagya work was not done. People didn't fight together under one umbrella and one concept of nation. So it was a divided place. And they fought for years and years, decades together. And they overall, finally, after so many, almost a century, they understood that no, we are supposed to be one country. But still, because the seed was not yagya, they are still unstable. The growth of Mexico is less than growth of India. Even after they got independence 121 years before India, the amount of stability of the society, we don't see that. Why? Because there was no yagya. In India, what happened? When there is a non-cooperation movement, when there is a non-violence movement, people came under one umbrella. It is sometimes I make a joke. When there are two kids who are fighting, and the father comes, the father from the office, father is very upset. He was working hard at the office, and he comes home, and all the kids are, they are making that. Sometimes the father, like the typical Indian father in old time, maybe not now, he will give a slap to each boy. Whoever is wrong or right doesn't matter. Shut up, trash. Yeah, he will give it. What will happen? Both the kids will become silent. Now what happens? Both the kids understand that if we are going to go and complain there, we will have a trouble. So both the kids come together. Even though they are going to fight among themselves, but when the father is coming in the front, they are both together. In the same way, in India, सब लोगों ने मार खाया, मिल के मार खाया. In a joking way, which is not a right way, because I have got great respect for all the freedom fighters. But सब लोगों ने मिल के मार खाया. Everybody took part in the freedom fighter non-violence movement. What happened? We got a country. It is a country. And obviously we know that those people who didn't thought that way, they took a separate part of the land. but it became a country. Sometimes Britishers say, yeah, तुम लोगों में तो nation का यही नहीं था. You didn't have any imagination of nation. We made you one nation. In some respect, they are right. Because before Britishers came, we were all small kingdoms. We were not one nation. We were, but we lost it after the invaders came. We were one nation at the time of Ashok, at the time of Chanakya. Chanakya did the same work. When Alexander came through the Takshashila and all, he came to Nalanda to tell them that we have to fight this guy. He is invading. And Ambi is helping him. Wrong. That is what Chanakya, learn about history. That is what, so Yagya, we should not be missing the point. The point is the Yagya. How a Yagya work helps and makes the rain. Yagya bhavati parjanyo, what it means. भगवान को बोलने की क्या जरूरत है? पानी गिरता है उससे, the water falls, the grains are there and the grains are eaten by the people and the people will be growing, nurtured. Is it necessary to tell in Gita? Such a simple scientific event? It's not. It is telling us what is the society should be running, how the society should be running. Anything, even the agitation, independence agitation should be done by Yagya. That is what this is telling. Annat bhavanti bhutani parjanyat anna sambhava. This shloka is telling us how the society should be run, how the country should be run, how the taxation system should be, how the distribution of money after collection of the tax should be, how the society can be happy together. Annat bhavanti bhutani. That is what this shloka is explaining us. If we chant this sloka just by holding our hands together or Bhagwan ke samne aisa, it will not give us the help. It will not help us. Gita is for the study only. गीता सिर के ऊपर चढ़ाने के लिए है, मगर सिर्फ सिर के ऊपर रखने के लिए नहीं, सिर के अंदर डालने के लिए भी है. गीता सिर्फ सिर के ऊपर रखने के लिए नहीं, सिर के अंदर डालने के लिए है. Until we get the message of the Gita inside our brain, it will not help us. It will not help us. You chant millions of times the Jai Gita Mata. No, it will not help us. It will not help us. You have to understand, and that is our effort over here. That is what we are doing here. So here the loop is what? There are humans. Humans are doing the efforts as per their capacity and as per their nature by Varna Vyavastha, what we talk. And those efforts together in a society is a Yagya, and that Yagya will create the fruits, the resources. It will generate the resources for the people in the society. सब लोग काम करेंगे, but in today's normal language to understand, people will pay the taxes. They will do the work and they will pay the taxes. Very simple. Although it is not that. Taxation system is not that way. As per Gita. But anyway, so they will pay the taxes, and then there will be a money coming in the in the state treasury, and then there will be a distribution of it. Then there will be a distribution. That is what this is telling. Annat bhavanti. It is starting from the Anna, but actually it should be read. If we want to do, we should be going reverse. Yagya karma samudbhava. Karma becomes Yagya. Yagya brings the Parjanya. Yagya brings the rain. The rain is creating the grains or the food, and the food is supporting the people. And that is how the circle is working. So when the people are supported, people will be alive and people will do their karma again. And that is what the circle is. That is what it is explaining. And the next sloka is telling where the God is coming in the picture here. It's very important. Other people say, ye to aisa hai to phir abhi Bhagwan ka zarurat hi nahi hai. Nah, God is needed. Why it is needed? Let us go to the second sloka. The next sloka, 15th sloka I will chant, and then we will look at how it is telling us, how it is explaining it further, why we need a God in 2 points, by 2 ways. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi brahmakshara samodbhavam tasmat sarvagatam brahma nityam yagye pratishtitam. Karma Brahmodbhavam Viddhi. Karma Brahmo Brahma. Let me do the translation in English. The duties of human beings are described in Vedas. And the Vedas are manifested by the God Himself. Therefore, all prevailing Lord is eternally present in the act of sacrifice. Here the word sacrifice is a very limited and very incomplete definition of Yagya. Unfortunately, when the invaders came to India, in the Yagya, they saw that Yagya karte hain, usme sacrifice karte hain. So Yagya means sacrifice. In their mind, it is so simple, and then they matched it, unfortunately, with the Egyptian history. In Egypt, the same thing, they were doing the sacrifice. Even in the very, very old 5,000-year-old societies also, it is seen that they were doing sacrifice of human beings. Yeah. So they translated that Yagya means sacrifice. Well, in one way it is also true. When people sacrifice their own selfish reason and nature and they work towards selflessly, that is Yagya. But sacrifice doesn't mean you kill an animal or a human being or something. So it's a little incomplete definition, but we will go with that. So Lord is eternally present in the acts of sacrifice. Means Bhagwan Yagya ke andar hote hain. Bhagwan Yagya mein hote hain. God is there in Yagya. Sacrifices. भगवान यज्ञ में होते हैं. अभी भगवान क्या है और यज्ञ में कैसे होते हैं? We have got a word, यज्ञ नारायण. We have got a word, यज्ञ नारायण. नारायण कौन सा? यज्ञ में रहने वाले नारायण. Let us translate it in Hindi. कर्म की उत्पत्ति ब्रह्मा जी से होती है और ब्रह्मा जी अक्षर तत्व से व्यक्त होते हैं. How the creator is, कर्म की उत्पत्ति ब्रह्मा जी से होती है. अभी यहाँ ब्रह्मा कैसे आ गए? और ब्रह्मा जी अक्षर तत्व से व्यक्त होते हैं, इसलिए सर्वव्यापी ब्रह्मा सदा ही यज्ञ में प्रतिष्ठित है. What a complicated translation. How does it apply to me in today's life? How does it? So let us go one by one slowly. Yeah. So the next question is how karma is created. So is karma created or decided? This is the question. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. How it happened? God created the Vedas, and Vedas are explaining the Varna Vyavastha. In other words, God creates 4 types of people. Remember, it is not a hierarchy, it is not a caste system, it is not untouchability, but it is the type of people which we see in the society by their nature. And that is what is explained in Vedas. So God created the universe and explained in the Vedas that I created in these 4 types. If you work with these 4 types of each of your own nature, then there will be a Yagya. That is why when we say Yagya, if we work as per the God's instruction, then it is our karma. That is how the karma is connected with the Brahma. In our simple language, let us see. Suppose the boss has told secretary को बोला जाओ जाके go and bring Mr. John to my office at 3 o'clock. So secretary goes and tells Mr. John, it is 3 o'clock, boss has called you in the office. Now, if Mr. John is telling the secretary that who are you to tell me? You are just a secretary. Who are you to tell me? Then Mr. John will not reach at 3 o'clock to the boss's office, isn't it? So, when the secretary is telling that Mr. John go to the boss's office, that means that at that moment, secretary is actually the boss who is telling that come to my office at 3 o'clock, isn't it? That is the meaning, right? When the secretary is telling go to the office at 3 o'clock to the boss's room, that means at that moment, that instruction, the indication, instruction, guideline, specification, whatever word we want to use, because there are various situations, and then accordingly we can use the word. But that means at that moment when he is telling, she is telling, he or she, the secretary is telling that go to the boss's office at 3 o'clock, he or she is actually sending the command of the boss to Mr. John that you go and at 3 o'clock you meet the boss. In the same way, when the Vedas are created by Brahma and he has explained how each type of people will work, when people work in that way, Brahma is existing in that work. That is what is karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. जब वेदों में कहा गया व्यक्ति उसे फॉलो करेगा, मतलब वो ब्रह्म का काम फॉलो करेगा और वो ब्रह्म है. At that moment, the secretary is the boss and telling, come to my office at 3 o'clock. It is not secretary, it is the boss. The action will be done as if Mr. John is following the command of the boss. Secretary is just a messenger. The command of the boss is important. So, in the same way, when people will do the karma as per the Vedas, in their karma, God is residing there. In that karma, God will be residing. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. That is how. So when someone is doing his duty, the God is established in the duty. When in my nature, there are another example is the musicians. When musicians play the music, when they are really engrossed into it, they play the music, they forget about the world, and it comes from inside. Those people who experienced it for music side, they will understand it better. It comes from inside. You ask the musician, oh, you played very well, and he will say, oh, I was not actually playing, it was just coming from inside. It was coming from inside. Why? Because it is my nature to play the music and I was playing the music. That is what is the mechanism inside. So the God is expressed, one who is within by the karma is expressed by the actions. That is how the God is coming. Karma brahmodbhavam viddhi. And it can be explained in multiple ways, like civilization. Say for example, most of the people, like 99% people in Canada are immigrants. If not now, then 200 years before. But we are all immigrants here in Canada. There are very few people who are from the original people of the land. All the people are immigrants. Some people have come now, some people have come earlier, and some people will come later also. But we are all immigrants. Right? So when we come and when somebody is doing a crime or somebody is doing a good job, either of that, हम क्या बोलते हैं? अरे फला, this person from this country has come and he has done this. The civilization, the identification of the person is by the country from which the person has immigrated from. We identify by that. And then even the statistics are made like that. That this part of the people world, when they come, there is more percentage of crime or more percentage of social work or anything for that matter. We say that. We bifurcate. Why? Because the civilization, the representation, civilization of the country, representation of the country is represented by the person. Now when the person has already immigrated, he is actually Canadian. But we don't say a Canadian has done, a African origin person, a Indian origin person. That is how we explain. But Baba, he is Canadian, he is immigrated, he is citizen, he has taken oath for the country. Now we cannot say, we cannot say. Black life matters. He is a US guy, everybody is equal citizen. Why there is a black life matters? Why there is identification of African origin person? When everybody is equal as a citizen? Because they bring the identification, the inherent identification. That is what happens. And that is what is considered. So in the same way, when somebody is doing a karma, the Brahma inside it, who has made the person, he has made a person timid, he has made a person brave, he has made a person who can earn good amount of money and do the business. All these things, all these are created by God. So in the karma, Brahma is expressed. In our karma, Brahma is expressed. Person, so in the same way, when the person is doing the righteous duty, अगर अपना जो काम सही तरीके से करता है, prescribed as per Veda, that means God is established in the karma. That is what is telling. How the God is connected to our karma. And somebody will say, okay, you explained this, but how does it matter? How is it applicable to me? Simple. हाँ, पाप में से बाहर निकलने का यही तरीका है. To come out of the sinful actions. Are you doing the prescribed duty for you? If not, it is sinful. You do your prescribed duty. That is what is required. Do your prescribed duty. That is important. That is what? Karma brahmodbhavam vitti. And then brahmakshara samudbhavam. Akshar. Brahma is established in the akshar. Om. Now this will go into a deep tattva gyan, which we do not want to, because it will become a complex thing. But we will say that because Brahma is created through Om, the whole universe is created through the Om. That is what is called as the Akshar. The eternal creator is imperishable. It says like that. Yesterday I was talking to someone that what is light? It is photons and waves together. It is photons, it is particles as well as the waves. It can be turned, it can be converted into anything. And that is what is the Akshar part. It's directly manifested. So God is manifested from the imperishable. That is Om. And then Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam, thus all pervading Lord is eternally present in the Yagya, established in the Yagya. That means what? There are multiple parts over here. Number one, when we do any karma, the force, the energy which we get to do that is supported and given by the God. This is number one. When we do any work, there is an energy, there is a part, there is a partner in that action who is God, who is providing us the energy. And this is explained by all the saints. संत जब कहते हैं भगवान की मर्जी के बगैर पत्ता भी हिलता नहीं. What does it mean? भगवान की मर्जी के पर पत्ता नहीं हिलता तो मैं दुकान जाके कैसे धंधा करता हूँ? हाँ, वो तो मैं करता हूँ. I do that. When we put I in the front, then the problem starts. So that is why put the God in the front. That is what the Vedas are telling. Whatever work, the power of the Creator is supporting the actions in the Yagya, selfless work, doing your karma, putting your best. Let us take an example. It is very easy to go by the example of the relay race. In the relay race, we know that there is a baton or there is a stick or something given to one person, and the person runs, and then he gives the stick to the other person and to the third person, and then totally when it comes together, whichever team is winning. That is what the relay race is, right? In relay race, what happens? That is what happens in relay race. Now, how can a team win? How can in a relay race a team can win? In relay race, a team can win only when everybody gives their best. If one of the person doesn't get the best, doesn't give the best, even if the other people have worked extremely hard, finally the team will lose. And when they are running, what should be in their mind? I am running and I should be getting the thing, or they should say that we as a team should run together equal, with our whole efficiency and win. What should be in the psychology of a person while doing their relay race? As a team. As a team. When I work in the office, even when I'm doing a business, मैं दुकान चलाता हूँ, we have got a competition. We don't have the cooperation. In any way, in घर में भी, between husband wife, between kids, competition. तुमने ये बोला, मैं ये बोलूँगा. You told like this, I will give you argument. Argument, counter argument. It will not work. We know that. It is unhappy society, unhappy family. So relay race is explaining everybody gives their best. Then only together we can win. That is why there are some good words, like you should put, I always suggest that whenever you find a line which is touching the life, you put it, you write it, you put it in a board and put it on the wall of your house in the dining room, in the bedroom. Yeah, like that. You put it over there. Together we win. Put it in the house. If there is any argument is happening between the kids, between husband, wife, father, children, anything, whatever is happening, show them the board. Together we will win. We will not win with arguments with each other and competition. We will win together. Together we win. That is Yagya. And how that together will be? At the center there will be home. There is family. So in the same way, in the society, in the center there should be God. Bhagwan ko rakhna padega. And that is why in the Yagya, Bhagwan is there. Yagya में भगवान की पूजा क्यों करते हैं? Why भगवान की पूजा? Why a Yagya should be done with Bhagwan in the center? Even in our Pradakshina also, see, everything is exemplified. In our Pradakshina also, when we do the Pradakshina, we go around the God, isn't it? हम लोग भगवान की प्रदक्षिणा करते हैं. प्रदक्षिणा पदम पदम. एक स्टेप में मैं तेरी प्रदक्षिणा कर रहा हूँ. I am doing your pradakshina with every step. What does it mean? Why do you go around? We should ask question. We should ask question to ourselves. And then we should ask question to somebody who knows about it. Or keep asking till you know about it. क्यों करते हैं pradakshina? Why we do pradakshina? What is the meaning? In every action in my life, in the center there will be God. God should be at the center of my karmas. Every action of my karma, every action, every karma in my life, every day, God should be at the center. God should be at the center. And God का मतलब हाथ जोड़ के खड़ा रहना नहीं है. God का मतलब working for the common cause. As we took the example of the family, together we will be. Center में तो society के center में कौन रहेगा? Who will be at the center of the society? Who can be in the center of the society? And the center of the country for that matter. Or the world. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. What is the meaning of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam? Keep the God in the center. That is what we have to do. That is what we are supposed to be doing. In our karma, every day, every moment, every second of our karma, God should be at the center. भगवान का डर रखने की जरूरत नहीं है. Understand करने की जरूरत है. We should understand the God, not fear of the God. लालच से या भय से. मंदिर जाता हूं क्योंकि पास हो जाऊं. नहीं होंगे पास. पढ़ाई करनी पड़ेगी. You must study hard to pass. Just by going to the temple and doing the mala for the 12 hours, 18 hours a day, will you pass the exam? You cannot. It is very practical. So where is God? So what happens because of this? Some people go away from the God. That is another wrong decision. उससे क्या भगवान का पूजा करने से कुछ नहीं होता, खाली पढ़ने से ही होता है. That is also wrong. Keep the God in the center. दिल भाव से भरा रहेगा. There will be a bhavam created in your heart when the God is at the center of your karma. Father is working very hard. Father goes to the office, father goes to does the job, working 18 hours, 20 hours a day. Why? There is a family at the center in his heart. There is a family in his heart, center of his heart. My family should be, getting enough bread and butter. My kids should get a good education. That is why a father is running. When the father is running all around, dhanda karta hai, he goes to the job, he is working hard, he is taking all the, abuses from the bosses and taking all the hardship in the society. Why? Because in his heart, at the center, there is family. That is why father is running. So as a whole society, what can be at the center? Center में क्या हो सकता है? When we want the society to work together, God. इसके लिए भगवान चाहिए. भगवान क्यों चाहिए? All those people who are asking भगवान कहाँ है और क्यों चाहिए? These two questions. Where is God and why do I need God? This is the answer. For a happy society, whom you will keep at the center? Some people have tried with different things like nationalism. देश के लिए आगे बढ़ो. Some people kept the religion in the center. But religion divides the society. When we want to talk about the society as a whole, as a universe, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, when we want to make the whole universe as one family, what can be at the center? Only God can be at the center. Nobody else. You cannot say a country can be at the center. There are different countries. Borders तो टूटती रहती है, but बनती रहती है. Countries exist and then they go away. Alexander the Great won the whole world. Where are his descendants now? Can they claim that the world is theirs? No. Countries are destroyed. Same with religions, societies. What can be at the center? It's only the God can be at the center. Yagya. Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam. That is what it means. This is the reason, this is the answer. God is bonding agent among the people who are doing combined effort. God is bonding agent. That is the bonding agent. That is why we need God. The fruit and the ownership will be creating issues of superiority and inferiority if God is not at the center. People come to the temple में आते हैं, पूजा करते हैं, प्रसाद लेते हैं. A rich person also gets the same prasad as the poor person. A educated person gets the same prasad as a uneducated person, isn't it? So when the God is at the center, distribution is equal. Simple, very simple. And when distribution is equal, society will be happy. When distribution is unequal, society becomes unstable. So to become happy as a society, as an individual, we need God. That is how we also need God. And it has got two meanings. Nityam Yagya Pratishtitam. God is to be at the center to do our actions, and also God is in the action by telling through the Vedas and through the karma. That is what I am explaining. And that is why there are the theory of temple. What is theory of temple? In the temple theory, there are two parts. One is working with the God. भगवान के लिए, भगवान के साथ में काम करना. And secondly, giving the share. Suppose somebody comes and put say $5,000 to the temple, and the other person gives 50 cents to that. When both of them stand in the queue for the prasad, both of them get equal food. That is what the temple is teaching us. That is what a temple is teaching. Coming to the temple means what? What it is teaching us. Whether I can bring it in my mind, whether I can understand it in my life. That is why there is temple. Coming to the temple means understanding the life. Understanding ourselves and society. That is why the temple is there. The whole theory of temple is decided from that side. We know already, there is a story. Bhagwan Buddha was going, he was going, when he already became Buddha, he was walking along the road, and there are rich people who are putting their ornaments, diamonds, gold, beautiful clothes at the feet of Buddha. At the feet of Buddha. They are offering it to the Buddha. And Buddha is not even looking at it. And Buddha is walking along the road. Then, when everybody is giving, there is a poor beggar woman, old woman. She also thought, I should also, everybody is giving something to Buddha, I should also give something to Buddha. Why should not? I should also give. Now what she has only one cloth on her body. Only one cloth. Imagine, it will be definitely a very dirty and torn cloth. What a beggar woman can have. So she thought that I will give half of this cloth. Half of this cloth. But if she will remove that cloth and turn it to half, she will not be completely covered with the cloth. So she tears it out and she goes behind the tree. And she calls Buddha from there. Buddha, Buddha, I want to give you something. And Buddha is looking at her. Buddha goes there and Buddha accepts that cloth. What this says? What does it say? In today's life, somebody can say that Buddha was not having a complete mind. He should have taken more money and all that thing. More useful. See, ज़्यादा डोनेशन आए इसके लिए कुछ भी काम करो, क्योंकि पैसा ज़्यादा आएगा तो आगे चलेंगे. Isn't it? In our society today, when we work, you go in many programs. What is the main thing? ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा टिकट बिकनी चाहिए. For that, you do any mess up with the program, doesn't matter. Whether the real message goes to the society, doesn't matter. There is a free cash bar रखो, ज़्यादा ticket बिकेंगे. Isn't it? Same thing. When somebody will say Buddha should have taken that, ज़्यादा resources मिलते थे, Buddha could have made 2 more, temples. नहीं क्या? बुद्धा ज़्यादा वो लेते थे, तो ज़्यादा 4 टेम्पल बनते थे और भी, बुद्धिस्ट टेम्पल. तो वो भिखारी का कपड़ा लेके क्या फायदा हुआ? That is what Buddha is giving the message. Buddha is giving that message. What you give, from how much you give, and with what heart you give, that is important. That is what it is telling. So we'll go to the next sloka, and then we will see that. So how this cycle is coming. This is a cycle which is shown. It is a complete socio-economic science. It is showing how people can love, people can live together as a coherent society through the Yagya and through the karma. So I will chant the next sloka, 16th sloka. Evam pravartitam chakram nanuvartayati haya agayurindriya ramo mogham partha sajivati. Evam pravartitam chakram. This is how the chakra, the cycle of society is running. Partha means Arjun. Partha is Prutha. Prutha means Kunti. Prutha's son is Partha. Kunti's son is Arjun. So Partha. Those who do not accept their responsibility in the cycle of Yagya established by the Vedas are sinful. Here there is a clear-cut definition of Paap kya hai. What is a Paap? पाप यानी किसी को मार देना, किसी का लूट लेना, वही पाप है. या तो झूठ बोलना, किसी का छीन लेना, वो पाप है. खाली उतना ही पाप में आता है. Those who do not accept the responsibility in the cycle of Yagya established by the Vedas are sinful. उसका पाप है, वो पाप करते हैं. That is what it means. What is sinful living and why it is like living in vain? Sinful kya hai or vain? Sinful as righteous way, Yagya, when we do not do our work in a righteous way and the methods which are established and explained in the Vedas, which is by the Varna, then it is sinful. Why it is sinful? Because that type of work doesn't bring harmony and peace in the society. पाप का परिणाम क्या होता है? अज्ञान और दुख. पाप का परिणाम दो होता है, अज्ञान एंड दुख. Lack of knowledge and pain is the parinam of papa. These two things are created by the papa. So when we do not do our righteous work, the result is pap. He is giving us a dukh. Okay, explain it in today's world. Very simple. If I am a skilled person who is a good musician, suppose I am a very good musician, but because of the need of the society, need of myself, I become a computer programmer. My father told me, become a programmer, you will get more money. And you need money to live in the society. So forget about music. तबला बजा के कौन कमाया है? Forget about the music and go and become a computer programmer. ABAP coding करो. C++. What will happen? That person will go, naturally that person has learnt C++, so they will get a job in programming, and they will go in a job. They will sit in that small cubicle and they will work for the whole life. Cut in computer, isn't it? That is what the programmer will do. But what is the nature of that person? Music, creativity. He will not be able to execute that. Will that person be happy in the life? We have seen people who are telling, 30 years they do the job, they make good money also. But they will say, मजा नहीं आया, ये job में मजा नहीं आता, ये job में अच्छा नहीं है. They get the dukham. Why they get dukham? Because they didn't do their prescribed duty, their skills. That is why they get dukham. And dukham is because of the sin. That means they have done a sin. पाप क्या किया? तुमको जो बनाया गया था वो तुमने नहीं किया. What you are made for, what you are made as, You didn't do that job. You do it another job. And that is a scene as per here. जो मनुष्य इस लोक में परंपरा से प्रचलित सृष्टि के चक्र के अनुसार नहीं चलता, वह इंद्रियों द्वारा भोगों में रमण करने वाला अघायु पापमय जीवन बिना बिताने वाला होता है. That is what a pap is. That is why you become unhappy. Pap doesn't mean किसी को सिर्फ मारना. Pap doesn't mean only that. So what we will do, we will come again next Saturday. Now next Saturday actually I am traveling. So by apology, I will not be here on next Saturday. I take a little vacation for one weekend. I am going to meet my granddaughter in US, and she is born. So I have not seen her for almost 6 months now. Never seen her. So I am going to go over there, and next week on Saturday there will not be any pravachan. But Saturday after that, the next to next Saturday there will be pravachan 8:30 to 9:30. We will study Gita as we usually come over here. Remember, we have shifted the time instead of 10 to 11. Now it is 8:30 to 9:30. So we'll meet again the Saturday after, and think about this sloka again, the sloka number 16, and how it is applicable in our life and how we can use it to make our life happy. So till then, I wish everyone a happy time. Weather is improving. Enjoy your time, and I hope the best for everyone. Vasudevasutam devam kansachanuramardanam devaki paramanandam krishnam vande jagadgurum. Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Sri Guruve